Chosamo, and there are 13 companies. Yes? Alright. So we have 85 resources in Rwampala. We also have wood cross mining. But I'm very happy and excited to be here and interact with you. Thank you very much.
It is being free from something. That crisis is a time of danger, difficult or doubt. When problems meant to solve for important decisions, then so it is to find a way of dealing with a certain problem. Then district it is an area, a country, or town. We are indicators. We are saying that when we are in Kampala, then the equipments are fine. The equipments are very good. Because the people in Kampala do have each and every equipment. They do have laptops. People are lacking water. That's the reason why we are saying that we want to move to the whole world, but not only in Kampala. You are now.
I would like to know how many households in the whole world do you know that are lacking water? And also,
I say that an engineer born in Rwampala, we include even residents of Rwampala. When the worker in a long way, people, my neighbors, will look at me and say that really this was done to one. Who say that it does not matter. That's why she said that it does not matter where an engineer comes from. How this one is the we are saying that an engineer from Kampala is better suited to solve the Rwanda district's problems of water crisis. And the first affirmative has said that it does not matter where an engineer comes from, which means that she supports our side and the team affirmatives are supporting our side. Then that makes the team negative state in national resolution. How do you establish the gentlemen? They also say that how many that we are still negatives, we are talking about the households in the whole world, yet for them they are talking about Rwampala. But it's the name of the audience one. I want to you that Rwampala is in Uganda. Uganda is in the whole world. And see, you will see that the team they are just supporting our side. Then they also say that in Rwampala that 94% of Rwampala is receiving water, and that is only in Uganda. But our next one is firstly the chart of Rwampala. If Rwampala is taking it is taking 100%, we see that Rwampala, if it is taking 100%, we see that only 19% is being divided to Uganda. Then how can the team affirmatives come here and say that 94% of the water is provided in Uganda? Our next one is then they also talked about having apps in them home apps. We know that an engineer, when an engineer is coming from Rwampala, he or she can use a phone or a computer, see that he can also study about the topography of Rwampala and come to know the problem that Rwampala is facing and solve that problem with ease and with clever seriousness. Then, our next one is many households do not access safe water, and that's why the engineers here are very supposed to see that they can solve that problem of water crisis.
We introduce or we implement boreholes in our district in order to supply water to every person in Rwampala district. Another negator too, he said that advanced and technology. So we are seeing those engineers in Rwampala and Kampala, they took same course, same skills. How are they not skilled also? Even we have an engineer in this house, he's coming from Rwampala. He's also skilled. So another negator too said that they have good equipment like tanks. Really, we are solving the water crisis. How can those tanks accommodate 1 billion of people? How can those little tanks solve the problem of 100 billion people in the district? So for us as a farmers, we are going to do what? We are going to establish those boreholes. We are going to introduce strong power solars which pumps water from underground to the top in order to end water crisis in our district. Rest a bit. Another farmer said, another negator said that how can we solve water crisis? I think I have answered that. So for us, we have like understanding photography, sit on it, studying the photography and the environment. This helps when the engineer comes. Purposely, engineers of Rwampala, they know how disasters happen in our district. They know that when it is rain season, this river behaves like this river behaves like this. So how can that engineer from Kampala know all those things? And yet there is those people, engineers in Rwampala, know everything that affects Rwampala district. So another is knowledge and community and innovation. Really, you can't do something without passion. You must have knowledge first, and you do what? And you apply it in actions. So for us as farmers, we have that knowledge of establishing taps in our districts, to supply water to everyone in Rwampala district. So, as engineers in a farmer side, for us we are here to solve global crisis in terms of introducing taps, introducing boreholes, and teaching people on how to use the established equipment in order to bring efficiency in our district. As I said, that introducing solar-powered pumping, this will help the district of Rwampala to have water day, night. But how can that person of Kampala solve that problem? Because for them, they're all about money. They're all about money, actually. Yeah. But for us, when we have our skills, we know that this is the most first brand materials to use in order to improve our water in our district. And dear panel, I'm promising, thank you. As a farmer side, we call upon the negators in order to think twice on their points. Allow me to raise my case.
Dear panel, a good farmer is determined by his tools. Resolved, this house believes that an engineer born in Rwampala is better suited to solve water crisis than an engineer from Kampala. We believe we as negators that we are engineers from Kampala who have capability and determination. The affirmatives came on board saying that they will introduce boreholes and taps in Rwampala. You are still lacking skills. You are showing us you still have a problem of photography of the environment. You are saying Rwampala is a hilly area, but we as engineers from Kampala, we are straight saying that Rwampala being a hilly area, it's not a problem to us. We are having skills on how we are going to operate. We know how to work upon that. Even though it is a hilly area, we first study our area. We already have skills on how we can work upon hilly areas. We believe you were saying you still have many problems. How are you going to introduce boreholes, yet the water is still having some silts? Like for example, in Rwampala there is riveries. There is silting every day and night. Will you put a borehole on riveries? Will you put boreholes in mountains, yet you do not have skills on how to operate them? And you were saying that engineers from Kampala, their mission is all about money. No. If a person chose to be an engineer, it means there is someone who inspired him or her. He is straight and having morale of doing his or her work, without being lazy, without any doubt, surrendering that he will do the work at a very well and maximally. He will do very well that work. We believe they are not after money, but they are all after to solve our situation and water crisis in Rwampala. We believe we as engineers from Kampala, we will do better for you. You are saying, why are we focusing in the whole world? We believe 1,000 miles begin with one step. We really believe that we shall begin from Rwampala. If we do better in Rwampala, we believe in Kampala we have already done better. It means we as engineers from Kampala, we are already trusted. So if we come in Rwampala, we shall do more better. And you were saying in Uganda there is 94% of water access. We are saying that remaining 6% we shall add it to you. You will have 100% in Uganda. We really believe as the engineers from Kampala, we shall make it successful to 100%. And you were saying you will involve the community members, and those community members, you were saying that engineers from Rwampala knows every household. Like for example, Engineer Sherry is from Rwampala. Does she know where I come from? Does she know where you come from? You who is in Rwampala? She does not know. She does not know where your home place is found, but she's from Rwampala. You can compare. She does not know. And we are seeing that an engineer coming from Rwampala does not mean no straight away from to your home. It means you still lack you still have water crisis. It means she will not solve, not until you go to Kampala and find her. And I'm really sure that she stood from Kampala and she's an engineer from Kampala. We really believe she never started. Delegators, we came on board with impacts like advanced technological skills. We believe if we are having advanced technological skills, we are already in contact with technological equipment, because I cannot know a skill when I don't know the tools to use for that skill to be fulfilled. We really believe we came with advanced technological skills plus advanced technological equipment, because they go hand in hand. You cannot go with a hoe in a garden when you don't know how to use that hoe. So we believe we as who are having skills, we are already with everything. Technological equipments are already there to solve the district's water crisis in Rwampala. We believe as we engineers from Kampala that we should do better. Our aim is to solve Rwampala's water crisis. We are not after money, we are not after anything. So for example, the SHE engineers came on a free course. Did you pay them? Affirmatives, did you pay these people to come here and inspire you to be an engineer? They came on a zero cost. They were inspiring us most. Like for example, I'm already inspired and I will fulfill my dream of becoming an engineer. The panel of today, allow me rest my case.
Think to and the impact analysis is that it is going to improve the Rwampala district's water crisis, and it is going to be done. How does ladies and gentlemen? We as the team negatives, we come on board with points like advanced skills. We see that an engineer from Kampala is always having skills since he or she attended an improved institution of education, and we see that they have those skills and the materials to be used to see that they can solve the problem of water crisis and the problem of water crisis and in the district. We as the team negatives, we come on board and say that the team affirmatives are just lying and misleading the audience that an engineer from Rwampala is better suited to see that he or she solves the district's problems of water crisis. But we see that an engineer from each part of the country is better suited to solve the problem since he or she has the skills and the things that are needed to see that he can solve the problems of the district. Our dear panel, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to rest my case.
Still host. The panel of tonight, the team negators come on board saying that through their repressed speaker, the cost-benefit analysis that the engineers from Kampala will be employed. The panel of tonight's debate, it means that team negators, they do not want the engineers from Rwampala to be employed in order to solve the water crisis within the district. The panel of tonight, through the third negator, they came on board saying that the engineer in the house is from Rwampala, and yet we still have water crisis. I would like to say that, and the engineer in this house to be an engineer, she was determined to. She became an engineer in order to solve the water crisis of the area where she is born, although she carries out her work within Kampala, but she also have that heart of considering her home area in order to know that there is still water crisis that she will have to solve. The panel of tonight, the negators come on board saying that they will make Bugamba have access of 100% water access. But I would like to say that there is nothing in this world that is 100% efficient or sufficient. The panel of tonight's debate, the team negators come saying that they will solve the water crisis within the world. And yet even the water crisis in Rwampala, it is still failing to be solved by the different engineers from Kampala. And then they will come, and then they are saying that they will have to solve it within worldwide. Why shouldn't they begin with Rwampala district, solve the water crisis, and then they go beyond the world? The panel of tonight, the team negators, we are still confused of the points that they brought on board. It means that they are not so sure of the same points that they brought on board. They kept saying that we as team affirmatives brought points like advanced technology and skills, and yet they were their points. It means that they did not know the particular point on which they brought on board. The panel of tonight, the team negators say that come saying that how shall we solve the water crisis? And yet the third speaker from affirmatives came saying that this problem of water crisis will be solved by setting up boreholes and also solving the silting of the area. The panel of tonight, the team negators say that what is the essence of knowing the topography without having skills? You may have skills, but also the topography becomes difficult to you. Without knowing the topography, you will not be able to use the skills that you acquired from the different institutions that you underwent through. The panel of tonight's debate, we see that the team negators still say that they will use Google Maps in order to know the topography of the area. But the Google Maps do not know the effects of the disasters of the topography within Rwampala district, so they will not be able to carry out their work efficient. But an engineer from Rwampala, he or she knowing the topography of the area, you will be able to solve, to create different ways of solving the water crisis of the area by knowing the disasters happening and also their effects. But an engineer from Kampala does not know the topography, and they're saying that he's going to use the Google Maps to know the topography of the area. But remember, the Google Maps do not know the effects of the disasters happening by the topography. The panel of tonight's debate, the methods to solve this water crisis that we have stated that, and they also say that they are talking about water crisis, not landslides. But I say that through my earlier speech, I say that this landslides, this shows the natural water existing like rivers, the natural areas containing water like rivers. But the landslides comes by the effect of having hills and mountains that will also be that will be sufficient for the erosion of the soil, and hence depositing in the lower areas that contain the rivers, but they came here saying that they are talking about water crisis but not landslides, and yet we are saying that landslides are also as a result of destroying the water, and hence it will be, and hence it creates the impact. The plan of tonight, we assume a formative step tonight, and I therefore end my speech.
That an Indian born in Rwampala is better suited than solve the problem of water crisis in Rwampala district than that engineer born in Kampala. Our dearest fan of tonight's debate. We as team of farmers, we believe that an engineer born in Rwampala is better suited to solve the problem of water crisis in Rwampala district. This is because the team of farmers, the team negators have been here lying us about that using internet search about the geographical phenomena of the community or an area in Rwampala district. Our dearest fan of tonight's debate. We as team of farmers, we believe that since our country Uganda has a little, it does not have a middle income status. Since we know that we don't have a middle income status, why are we forcing our government to pay the unnecessary and to expend unnecessary expenditure to those useless things? Since we know that we don't have enough money, our dearest fan of tonight's debate, we have team of farmers. We believe that an engineer born in Rwampala is well involved in community affairs. Our dearest fan of tonight's debate, allow me to pose a question to these negators. How will an engineer born in Kampala be able to solve a problem of water crisis in Rwampala, since he or she doesn't know that many areas among the areas in our country Uganda there are some people who are very harsh to those engineers working on water due to ignorance or many other factors. Our dear span of next debate, we as team of farmers, we believe that an engineer born in Rwampala, since he's well involved in community affairs, he or she would know that that area has harsh people due to ignorance. That's because they don't know the use of installing or empowering water in that area. Our dear span of tonight's debate, we as team of farmers, we believe that since an engineer is born in Rwampala, he or she is allow me to rest tonight.
Question still holds. A farmer through their second, a farmer have come with points like understanding the photography of an area. And they say that an engineer born in Rwampala is able to understand the photography of an area. How engineers born in Rwampala, what have they did? Like here in Rwampala Comprehensive School, how many tanks do we have that provide us with water? We go there and Kapika and we get water for drinking. That's why we call upon Kampala engineers to come and work in Rwampala, because we are seeing that engineers born in Rwampala, nothing they are doing in Rwampala, just they are like a tree planted by water and now here. And they were asking like, how can an engineer born in Kampala know the photography of Rwampala? Why were the computers phones introduced? Because here we use Google Maps to get the information about any district in the world, constituency, and everything that is needed on Google Maps. Our dear panel of today, allow me rest my case.
We appreciate the level of research shown in the points that you were giving, and we also appreciate the fact that you were sharing facts. The evaluation criteria we used today, we've looked at your core arguments and logic. We've looked at your use of evidence and examples. We have looked at your rebuttal and agility. We have also looked at the way you deliver your points and the passion you had while debating. We've also looked at your teamwork and the strategy that you've used during the debating session. For core arguments, criteria, core arguments and logic, we have the affirmative. With each of these categories has 20 points. Yeah? So core argument and logic, out of 20 points, the affirmative team has 18, the negative team has 17. Affirmative built a highly cohesive case around topography. Negative effectively scaled the issue globally. Evidence and examples. That's another category. We have the affirmative having 19 points, and then we have the negative having 16 points. Affirmative provided concrete solutions like solar boreholes. The negative relied slightly more on theoretical advanced technology. Rebutals and agility.
An engineer from Rwampara, to begin with, knows the topography of Rwampara. This makes it more effective for her to use her skills in order to solve the water crisis in Rwampara. Then, an engineer from Rwampara, he or she also attained skills from different technical institutions that also make her important to solve the water crisis in Rwampara. Then, an engineer from Rwampara also is very smart to solve the district's water crisis. An engineer from Rwampara also is problem solving because all engineers study to solve different problems worldwide. So an engineer from Rwampara is problem solving. Also an engineer from Rwampara is persuasive. Being persuasive, it means that she will also have a persuading tongue in order to get more knowledge from an engineer in Kampala on how he or she solve the different problems within the field. And also an engineer from Rwampara is very persistent. Do not see the water crisis taking place within the area, but remember that it's very persistent. You may see that there is no work being done by an engineer in Rwampara, but remember, he or she, in her heart, she still has that persistent heart of knowing more, the better advanced skills, the better advanced technology, solve the water crisis in the area. Then also, an engineer from Rwampara has passion to end water crisis in Rwampara. That do not see different engineers born in Rwampara without doing something. But remember, deep down in their hearts, they still have that passion to end the water crisis in Rwampara. Just as we are in school, you may not begin well, but remember at the end of it all, you still have to produce something very effective. That makes an engineer from Rwampara to still have to maintain that passion to end water crisis in Rwampara.
Perfect. Today's debate was well laid. We are so happy. People are coming up, English is being implemented. Though we limited our debate today, but our dear guests, allow me to introduce you that we have a very big team of debaters. And also, our school team is also here with us, we mix them, and we have others in the audience. So debating is our thing.
And lead their respective solutions. Teamwork and strategy out of 20 points. We have the affirmative with 8. We have the another tie here. Both teams starting with 18 points. Both sides effectively built upon their previous speakers' points to create work on both ends. Well done. So when we come down to the total score, we have the affirmative with 91 out of 100 points, and the negative with 90 out of 100 points. So this is, we have some extra feedback for the teams. The affirmative team, you built a highly effective argument around topography, pointing out that a local engineer understands seasonal river changes, soil erosion, and mountainous terrain better than an outsider. That was incredibly persuasive. Then you move beyond theory and propose actions. Then for feedback to our mediators, you did exceptionally well in critically analyzing the scalability of skills. You correctly identified that water crisis is a massive, widespread issue, arguing effectively that solving it requires advanced technology, materials, and training found in major urban institutions. Using the presence of an outside engineer right here in the room myself, as living proof that city-trained professionals care about rural districts, volunteer their time, and inspire local youth was an absolute mind-drop moment. It beautifully neutralized the affirmative passion versus profit arguments. You rely, this is an area where you could improve as a team. You rely heavily on the idea of advanced technology, providing one or two specific examples of exactly what the technology wants, such that you could directly counter the affirmative solar power holes you have made your case completely bulletproof. So, this was a very remarkable cross match. It was This gives us, it didn't make it easy for us to judge. So well done and congratulations. Then as a panel, on behalf of the panel, our vote for the best speaker of the day goes to Aban from the debaters team. To conclude this session, we shall be giving a certificate of participation to all our debaters of the day. The beginning, where we all started from, the time when we were sitting, like the students seated right before us. What was the exact moment, or who was the exact person who made you realize that you wanted to be an engineer? Or did you even know you wanted to be one in the first place? I think this question can be answered by Engineer Samuel and Engineer Collins.
Thank you very much. Back then, it's not very long, but when I was like you in secondary, I knew I wanted to be an engineer. However, I had not specified. Though I had a lot of professions I had in mind, but I knew that I wanted to be an engineer. However, I had not specified exactly what I wanted to be. But as I was in my Form 6, during the COVID, yes, that's when the pandemic hit us, so you realize I'm not as old. Yes, so when the pandemic hit us, I got
graffiti, all that, and it was very interesting to me. So up to level, I think because I also knew fine arts, so up to level, I think I still wanted to do something that is involving buildings, and I still say no. And my first choice was to do with architecture. So I said, let me first do this combination that I was doing. I did physics, math, and arts in A-level. And then by the end of Form 6, at least I said, I think engineering would be a better option since it is a wide field that deals with solving problems. So that's why I took on the engineering field in university. And here I am.
At first, after engineering, it's a nice, I always call it a nice song. When you are moving as an engineer, you feel like good music here. You get it? Me, at first I thought I would be a doctor, but also some small subject called chemistry. So had changed my mind in the A-level. Now, after my A-level, I joined Jambo University where I did my diploma in water engineering. Immediately after, I started working with National Water and Sewage Corporation in Kampala. Then in my 2 to 6 months when I was working, my diploma wasn't enough. I was dealing with people, with masters, degrees. So I was like a small drum. So in that sense, I was advised by one of my colleagues that let's go back. At first I was like, God, this book says first make money. But the other side, the money wasn't enough to the qualification that they are holding. So we decided to go back. Yes, I joined, since I had a diploma, and I passed very well. I joined the university. Here at the university, I was starting by working. So I could start there from Friday evening up to Sunday evening. We're now competing with people who were starting from Monday to Friday. But for me, I had few days on the weekend from work. So me, I never had a weekend that I'm going to work as it's weekend. Yeah?
Good evening once again. Yes, we are not working on that mind because we are still young. And also to trace
So where does these maybe the 50 kgs of tea, where do they go? Do they really go to the processing plant, or are they smuggled out of Uganda? Yes, so one of my main roles is to ensure that we as Ugandans benefit from the minerals we have, to ensure that minerals are not smuggled out, because if they are smuggled out, that means the government is not getting royalties, and if the government is not getting royalties, that means we are going to be having bad services. You're going to see that the government doesn't have money to construct roads and schools. So what I do is to trace the tea from the mine to the processing, because when it comes from the mine, it's not exactly tea. For those who do chemistry, so it's not exactly tea. It has some impurities. So we have to remove those impurities, and after processing it, now we have to take it to the smelter. A smelter is like the final thing whereby we are going to purify it. Let us say that you bought we call it ore. So if you bought the ore from the mine, its purity is around 60%. So what we do at the smelter, I work at wood cross smelting here in Barra, so we smelt the tin ore. So what we do is to purify it. You purify it from 60 to 99%. But one of my basic roles is to ensure that our chain of custody from the mine to the processing plant, from the processing plant to the smelter, and then we export it out of Uganda when it's purified. I think we are now only the know of what mining is, so you extract the
contractors. Now, here, as engineers, yes, we're going to want projects, and you want to do things and solve problems, societal problems. But what we do here at this company is get a kind of full pack whereby you're going to have to look for the work yourself. So in so doing, we do cost estimates of how much the project is going to take, and that also entails preparing the VOQs, the bidding documents, the tenders coming from different organizations. So you first get the tender, then prepare the bids and make a quotation for what the project is going to cost. And then when you get it, you can implement it yourself, because you cannot cost something and you don't know how it's going to work out. So you have to go implement it wherever it may be. They can go you anywhere to work. And basically, it's contractors are those ones who implement projects. The guys who go on underground to supervise the construction works and what's going on in the project. Then once in a while, we come into the phase of planning. That is making the drawings of, it can be anything, any kind of structure. That is, it could be a house, it could be a road, it could be water structure like a dam. So I also do drawings that are meant for planning purposes before a project is to begin. Yes, that's just a brief about me. Thank you.
It's Joanna and I have visual aids. So I work for this company. It's called SLB. I don't know if you've heard about it. And this is the project I work on. So my background is electrical engineering. I did an electrical engineering degree in my career. I worked in somewhere in a solar company, and people who make mini grids basically and that company used to put power in places where the grid is not. So for those of you who don't know the grid, umeme or UDC, that's the grid. If you make your own small thing, that's called a mini grid, and that is where I worked. Very interesting. Those ones who want to ask me about it, please come. So mini grids are very interesting. You can create a grid only from a bad. That it's not connected to UDCL. When UDCL crashes, you still have a power. So that's mini grid. Currently, this is I don't know if you heard about it. So we have oil in Uganda, and we are drilling the oil. My job is to see what is down. We have some tools, nice things we run. We send them download. I see what is down using those tools. I control those tools using some computers, and that's my job. So that's as simple as that. So me, I just need to see where is the oil. Is it on the left? We go left. Is it on the right? So our tools go up to 5 kilometers below the ground, and they see. So we are the eyes of the people who are trying to look for the oil, and that is the company. I wanted to also tell you what engineering is. So I don't know if we talked about it. So why do we do engineering? Engineering, when we study engineering, we want to know how things work. So they've described all their jobs, and when you hear them, we might not be doing actual engineering, but you cannot do these jobs, or you cannot change what you want to change when you don't know how things work. That's why we do engineering certificates, engineering diplomas, engineering degrees, to know how things work. Now when you know how things work, you can do almost any job. But if I throw you there and you don't know how things work, I have to keep telling you, you cannot figure out anything for yourself. And that's why we do engineering. Why do we do engineering? To know how the things work. And if we know how things work, we can figure out how else to make them better. Thank you.
Well, I'm here in my roots now. Dear colleagues, I know things are not easy. Let's encourage ourselves that we can make it in life. Okay? On getting guidance when we are choosing our career, we can't do it alone. Most people probably like how she did is the go and so on. You get it? But I would advise you to get advice. Don't run for a course which won't benefit you. Okay? That's all. That's only thing I can say about it. If you can bear advice, that's sure we can.
One thing I could tell my younger version of me back then is that, you know what, it's possible. And if it's possible, it takes hard work. You get? Yeah, I think everyone here maybe has a role model somewhere, but one thing you should know, nothing comes on a silver plate, and it takes hard work. So if you combine hard work and passion, everything is possible.
I think I would tell myself to read to understand, but rather not to just pass. You can't be reading that I get marks. You will get the marks, but they won't help you in the field. Or in any kind of field that you're going to pursue, whether it's engineering, whether it is law, whether it is, you have to really understand what you're doing. Don't just do it for the marks.
What I would tell my younger self, which I'm also telling you, is participate. Participate, there's a saying that says you miss 100% of the chances or the shots you don't take. So participate. When you're in school and there's debate club, there are many clubs, find one to participate in. When you leave this level and you're at the university, don't just finish your degree, find something to do. Participate, keep participating. Otherwise, you will never stand out. You will just be part of the crowd, and people who do not stand out rarely come out. So participate. Thank you. Working on mini grids, what we are doing is planning. So basically, we come to a place and try to see if we decided to give Rwampala electricity, will they be able to pay for it? So what we are doing is counting how many schools want electricity, how many schools don't have, how many households want electricity and can pay from us. So you see, that's not an easy work. So what I was supposed to do is to make an estimate. And these projects do not come with a lot of funding. So I cannot come and ask the director here, how many bulbs do you keep on? I have to just come, look at the bulbs, make an estimate, or look at their bills, how much they pay. So how I failed, I don't think I failed, but giving a rather generous estimate. So you tell your supervisor or the project funder that if you put a mini grid in Rwanda, we shall be able to get 5 million in the first 6 months. And they do their simulations, and when they send the people in the field, the people tell them you can only pay 2 million. And the equipment is already there. So now what do you do? How do you solve such a problem? So that's the mistake, I guess, overestimating. And how will you solve such a problem? One of two things. You can convince other people who did not want to pay for the power to come and join your grid by telling them the first 6 months are free. After they buy their TV, now they need electricity. The first 6 months you give them free electricity, they buy TV, They buy the food, they buy everything. After 6 months, take away the electricity, now they have to pay. They are used, they want to watch us and so that is one of the ways. Another way is to give, because if here we only use bulbs, the bill will be very low. But if I give you a TV, I'm helping you, but now you're taking a lot of my electricity, so you're also increasing my bill. So that is how we fixed it. I don't know if it was an engineering solution, but you can see even in the field or in the real world, they're thinking, how do I bridge the gap?
We're talking about bridging the gap because our students spend all morning bridging. The gap. So you've seen that engineering does not stop on the mathematics. The mathematics teaches you to know what to do. It teaches you to understand the science behind what you see on the surface. When time for practice comes, a lot more gets involved. His problem that he just raised on a normal day sounds like a marketing problem, doesn't it? It sounds like something which a person that studied marketing should solve. How do I convince this client to proceed and buy my product? It sounds like marketing, doesn't it? Would someone that has done marketing but is not an engineer think of the solution he gave about taking some things off the grid such that the person can now buy it at a cheaper price? Definitely you would need the technical know-how for you to do the marketing. So that is basically what engineering entails. So for the question to the lady, as an initiative of She Engineer 256 and When Global, we talk a lot about breaking barriers. Engineering has historically been male-dominated. Can you share a time when you had to confidently advocate for yourself in any workplace or the field, and what that taught you?
Thank you very much. Yes, I've had a lot of incidences where I had to break the barrier, especially for the girl child. One of the things that it takes, you have to be proactive. Okay, at times we as girls, we are like, I'm a girl, I can't do that. So what I decided, because by that time I was also the president of the Mining Engineering Association, I made a proposal to our head of department that, you see, we are sent to this place, but ladies are not allowed to go underground. And yet, in theory, we learn about a lot of things that happen in the underground mine. Guess what? So for the next lot, things changed. You get? So I decided to be the voice of my predecessors who came after me, such that they are not affected, but by what we got affected to. You get? So that means that those who came after me, when are now able to go underground, are now able to really see, like from the book.
Right for us. Right now, the floor is open to students. We have a maximum. This session of questions is going to last strictly 15 minutes. So whether we answer 1 or 2 questions, once 15 minutes are up, we are closing the session. So if you have a question for anybody sitting right before you among our panelists, I'm not a panelist. So among our panelists, please feel free to ask.
Mr. Collins, you talked about BOQs. What are they?
I'm very sorry. I'm very, very sorry. This is a lovely thing we usually use out there, but BOQs are a document.
Thank you, the panel of today. I would like to question the common challenges that you face and how did you overcome them during your studies? And another question, the experience during the finding of the job after engineering course.
I'm so glad. Also, I'm asking, is it possible to change a banana to a sweet potato? Where I mean, some of us high-level students, we find like some of them offering arts and others offering sciences. So that's why I say, can you change a banana to a sweet potato? Because you find like you are taking arts, but you don't know you don't know sciences. How can you improve that section?
Let's get your question clearly.
This is whereby you have visitors from delegates from UN and all that, so it's always me to talk about the company. You get it? So one thing I would love to talk to my fellow ladies is that it's possible. By the way, it's not even difficult. At times it's we who put the barriers. You get? At times it's we who don't want to stand up. They tell you to volunteer to come and maybe give a remark, a Thanksgiving remark to maybe the presenters, and they're like, you know, now I'm a girl, how are they going to see me? Am I even smart? But now look at my English. But now I speak very slow, you get it? So it's about us, you get? At times we as the girls are the ones who have this in our mindset that, you know what, I can't do the physics. I really can't do it. So it's about changing your mindset. Once you change the mindset, things start to align. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. That's only thing I can say about it. If you can bear advice it, that shall be on a straight line. Thank you.
One thing I could tell my younger version of me back then is that, you know what, it's possible. And if it's possible, it takes hard work. You get? Yeah, I think everyone here maybe has a role model somewhere, but one thing you should know, nothing comes on a silver plate, and it takes hard work. So if you combine hard work and passion, everything is possible.
I think I would tell myself to read to understand, but rather not to just pass. You can't be reading that I get marks. You get the marks, but they won't help you in the field. Or in any kind of field that you're going to pursue, whether it's engineering, whether it's law, whether it's, you have to really understand what you're doing. Don't just do it for the marks. Thank you.
What I would tell my younger self, which I'm also telling you, is participate. Participate. There's a saying that says you miss 100% of the chances of the shots you don't take. So participate. When you're in school and there's a debate club, there are many clubs, find one to participate in. When you leave this level and you're at the university, don't just finish with a degree. Find something to do. Participate. Keep participating. Otherwise, you will never stand out. You will just be part of the crowd, and people who do not stand out rarely come out. So participate. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That was very, very, very crucial advice. Just give it to both your younger selves and the students right before us. Right now, the floor is open to students. We have a maximum. This session of questions is going to last strictly 15 minutes. So whether we answer 1 or 2 questions, once 15 minutes elapse, we are closing the session. So if you have a question for anybody sitting right before you among our panelists, I'm not a panelist. So among our panelists, please feel free to ask. Exclude himself.
You are panelist. You are panelist.
I would like to question Collins. You talked about being OQs. What are they?
Wow. I'm very sorry. I am very, very sorry. This is the language we usually use out there. But BOQs are a document called bills of quantities. Bills of quantities contains, if let's say this is the wall, you know how many square meters it has, given the dimensions, and then after knowing, you price it with the unit of 1. That is where you get the rate of 1 square meter of wall, how much it is, and then you multiply it by the number of square meters you have. So you get the actual cost of amount you're going to use to build.
Sorry.
Thank you. I would like to question the common challenges that you face and how did you overcome them during your studies? And another question, the experience during the finding of the job after engineering course.
All of us.
Do you have someone in particular directing your questions to, or is it open to the entire panel?
I was a challenge like this. Waking up there in the morning, it was a challenge to me. But later on, after joining university, actually not university, that is high school. When I was here, it used to be like a time of waking up. Our teacher could come to those dormitories across there with a whistle. That is at 5 a.m. But some could jump to their farm, some could hide under the bed, others could come straight to the classroom. So that one shouldn't be even a challenge. Know why you are at school. So when I joined high school, it was very easy for me because I was used to it. You know, this place is very cold. Now, when joining the university, it's the school for mature people. No one will say, wake up, go and read, go to class, or go for lectures. No one. No one. Leave alone our teacher Omondi, follow you, go for preps, go for in university. It's your own. You either decide to go and sleep in your hostel, which is being paid by your parents, and too much money, you sleep, then at the end of the semester or at your end of the course, you fail. So after graduating, looking for jobs are not in a silver plate, as you had before. You had to be innovative. You had to make friends. You had to participate, be visible. When they say group members who want to join this group to participate for you, hide. Even jobs will hide from you. That is it. Thank you. Okay.
His question. Yes. One thing that will help you right now is groups. Make sure you do work given like an assignment. Discuss it with your friends. Form groups and discuss. It will help you on this understanding than the ones that it has given you in the past. Because your friends can easily understand from your friends than when you're just learning the thing for the first time on the blackboard. Even that group also helps you at university.
I'm so glad. Also, I'm asking, is it possible to change a banana to a sweet potato? Where I live, you know, some of us level students, you find like some of them offering arts and others offering sciences. So that's why I said, can you change a banana into a sweet potato? Could you find that you are taking arts, but you don't know you don't know sciences? How can you improve that section?
Just get your question clearly. Are you asking whether you can change from doing arts to sciences even if you're not good at them?
Is to know what you can and cannot do. When we are younger, there are few things we should say we cannot do. So we should be able to try everything. But you see, when you've already gotten into a course, unless you are really advised, as one of our colleagues said, and your vision is clear. Let me put it this way. Someone is doing history, divinity, economics, but he believes he should be doing physics and math.
Yes.
And then you ask them, why do you think you should be doing physics and math? And they just say, I just want to do the sciences. Or I want to be an engineer. Say, okay, why do you want to be an engineer? There needs to be another reason. When you hear someone's vision of why they want to be, you can tell them, you know what? Because you feel so strongly about this, you want it, you will work as hard. But if you don't want it enough, you just want it, then you leave history, divinity, and economics, and you just want math, and then you go and fail math, and also now you can't go back the other side. That's where it goes wrong. So you need to have something guiding you, and three things I can mention. The first one is, what are you good at? Before you go for a career, what are you good at? I didn't answer that question, like, how I went to engineering, I was just good at math. So I can't reply, I said, I'm not going to do this, I'm not going to do all these things. So the first thing is, what are you good at? The second one is, what is your vision? You could be raised all your life to be an engineer, but physics is destroying your life. Then now you have to get into it as hard as you can. You have to fight back. Because the level of physics you're doing there, when you go to engineering, might not be the same level. Things might be easier because what you're doing in the course is applied. You're doing it, you're studying, but also you're working on it. So the first one I said is what are you doing? The second one is where is your vision? The third one is what are you able? I might want to be a pilot, but there are pilot schools in Uganda. So there are no pilot schools in Uganda. So if I can't afford a pilot school elsewhere, so there is availability. You cannot say I will not go to that school unless I will not go to a school that does not teach this. If you cannot get into that school, you need to be able to make a positive. I'm saying this because I know some of my friends who say, Makerere doesn't give me the degree I want, I will not study at home. You understand? They say in Uganda, I have the degree, I will apply to go out of the country. And just been 5 years, they're still applying to go out of the country. We are finished graduating, we've got jobs, we are getting second degrees, they're still saying, this one is not good enough for me. So those three things, well, I feel they can answer your question of why now change from history to math.
We are all sitting here. Other than him, the rest of us are employed. If you dig down to find out who the actual owners of the businesses are, you tend to find that sometimes they never did any sciences. So yes, arts people can own an engineering company and hire the skilled engineers to work for them.
The whole day I've managed to know the importance of having engineers in the country and also wide world, and I've also managed to identify the challenges and how they are able to solve the different challenges, and also including the more like I have also managed to attain some motivation regarding the engineering sector.
So my today's expectations were all right because I've got whatsoever I had to get. I have known the subjects that I do have to take, and I've known what I can do and something that is better for me to continue in engineering. And I've understood much about engineering. I have known how I can work, and I have known the people that I can reach to know more about engineering.
My expectations today were all reached because I didn't know that even a girl child can become an engineer. But most especially in our visitors, most of them, they were girls, so they motivated me, and I never knew the subjects which can be took to become an engineer. Now I'm aware, and I know that I have known the use of engineers in our country, and if you are an engineer in a society, you can solve something, can be creative to use the things, the materials which are in the society, so that you can solve the problem that is affecting the society.
Thank you very much, the engineers that have visited us today. All my expectations have been fulfilled, and I expected that the engineers that will become here, they will tell me much about the career guidance and which subjects should I take or offer such that I can get that career of engineering. And they have all told me those ones, and they have told me the kind of people engineers are in the community and what they do. Thank you very much. That is my experience. Thank you for this outreach.
As today was concerned, like for example, me, I never understood if someone is an engineer, is he or she an architecture only? But I have seen also engineering realized like in mining sector, like the concerning with electricity. I have at least specified something among the engineers, because there are many engineers but performing in different sections. So for example, I was very inspired by Sanyu, who was for mining sector. So she inspired me more and gave me like a belief that like she was segregated at first, but at last she was given an opportunity since they saw how is the capability and passionate to do the work.
Oh wow, really today my expectations were passed out. Really I have known the use of an engineer in our district. I never knew also we can use papers to make a bridge. Really today I have understood that engineering is not only practical but even using mental thinking. Really I have learned that really engineers solve global crises like water crisis and other things in sections. Really what I have got like to become a problem solve those problems in our community. I have known that no one was born as an engineer, but really, if I'm taking a certain combination, but still I can change it to another combination in order to make my vision come true. Thank you.